Before we get into today's reaction, I do want to clarify a couple of things. One, this is something that is just talked about enough on social media that it is becoming kind of a sore scab, a stinging wound, if you will, specifically when it comes to, well, let's just talk about men. Let's talk at men, not necessarily talk to men. I do respect Shoe0nHead. That's why I'm giving this video a shot. I do respect her opinions. We may differ professionally, but ultimately I think she's brought some good content to the table. Two, if there is mention of politics, it's just gonna be a no comment from me. I don't really care much for politics. It's idiot theater. It's theater for stupid people. I could care less. And is all I will say on that subject. Three, I am looking at this from a fairly defensive and analytical standpoint as somebody who is just watching video after video of men kind of getting attacked. Very specifically, why are men leaving the workforce? Oh, it's because disability, and oh, men just need to work, and men aren't like they used to be. I'm tired of the negative rhetoric. And then in another video Shoe0nHead did, I believe it was the male loneliness epidemic, why creators, influencers, personalities like Andrew Tate and Sneeko get so much traction is because they are talking to men. So I want to see if we're going to end with that same point, or if there's going to be an addition to that, if there's going to be a further explanation on the subject. So with all necessary disclosures, flags, etc. out of the way, let's get into the man problem. Why are men moving right?
Hello everyone, and happy 1-year anniversary to my male loneliness epidemic video. I'm happy to announce that since that video uploaded, the discourse has greatly improved. People all around the world are taking men's issues more seriously, and the gender war has finally come to an end.
No.
Just kidding, everything has gotten worse and nobody has learned anything. From the
Correct.
witches on The View cackling about how men are useless.
Do we need men?
See, here's the rhetoric that I like to cite. Because the next step from this is the TikTok. We need to just round up all men in camps. This is coming from a strictly frustrated standpoint, a not logical standpoint. Do it. You will watch as society around you collapses. We want to, and Shoe0nHead correctly outlined in a prior video, right? Correctly outlined that, society needs men, the people who are working automotive, working hard labor, working hard jobs. And we even have the Why Are Men Leaving the Workforce video cite the same exact thing. So I'll get into that at the end of the video, but I did actually reach out to my buddy, once again, the teacher, former military, so fairly positive, fairly reasonable and educated stance on this. I did send him a lengthy message, which I will break down later in regards to questions about the subject, but from my own frustrated standpoint, if you as a woman, or even a trans individual, or even men, other men, right? Because I'm sure there are men that agree with this rhetoric. If you want to push, well, we just need to delete all men just need to self-delete, we need to put all men in camps. Where's your follow through? You're going to talk a mad game, but it's not going to happen. You know why it's not going to happen? Because we have massive historical precedent at why putting people in camps is bad. We also can look to history at times when, men are not in the workforce, men are off to war. I'm sure that there's parallels you can definitely draw between economics and men being, a lack of. I am all for equality. If you are a woman, if you're a trans individual, you can do anything that a man can do. To which I do receive negative feedback. I receive, well, but Kip, women are physiologically different. Sure, okay, I'll bite. No one should be lifting 300 pounds at a restaurant like I have. That is actually over OSHA safety, right? But the job needs to get done, and, of course, I as a dude get stuck with the job, right? Equality is absolutely treating everyone equally, but it's making sure that we break down barriers for everyone to succeed. In breaking down those barriers, so giving reasonable accommodation like weightlifting devices, support, etc., a woman or trans individual, anyone can do the same job that a man can. I'm for that on equality. I really don't see, how that's not a common sense take. Especially when, we have female Marines, okay? We have women in the Marine Corps, okay? They can absolutely, in my armor, throw me, right? Actually chuck me, right? We have women in automotive. We have women in finance, right? We have women in all these fields, right? And you have the audacity to tell me that, oh, well, women can't do that? Sure, absolutely. Once again, I'm sure there's barriers. I'm sure that the United States Marine Corps, any military person can outline challenges women face in a physical doing job aspect, right? 100% sure there is. However, once you break down those barriers, why should anyone get special treatments? But I guess I also come from a biased standpoint, and I'm a dude, just do it, and have been told, you're a dude, just do it. Go lift this 300-pound trash can. You're your coworker, she cannot. She's like 150.
Men are useless. I mean,
To women online saying they'd rather be stranded in the woods with a bear than a man.
Oh yeah, I saw this discourse. Yeah, enjoy the bear.
Would you rather be stuck in a forest with a man or a bear?
The bear. Bear.
It seems that things have gotten more toxic than ever, and the gender divide couldn't be any wider, especially politically.
In 2008, 58% of young people leaned Democratic. 2012, 53%. And in the last two major election years, that percentage held steady at 55%. But in 2023, that number dipped below 50% for the first time since 2005. And you'll notice right here, they've started to lean more Republican.
No comment. The only thing that I will say regarding the past 10, 15 years is that at people's jobs, our demands are way higher than they have ever been. You have to understand, once again, I come from a workaholic mindset. I will absolutely work even if it's my day off, even if it's my vacation, right? I will absolutely work through stuff. I will skip lunches. I will skip breaks. So if we want to start having that conversation once again of, well, you're just lazy, Kip. Let's check that, okay? Let's check that. You're going to go days without lunches like I did? I'm all for that. Then we can have a discussion. We may have a discussion when you enter workaholic status like I do, even though, say, I do internet work and you do hard labor, right? Which I feel I've been pretty open into respecting. The only commentary I will offer is that jobs have gotten harder and more difficult and just have way more expectations. And that's really all I'll go for. I mean, see the entire Why Are Men Leaving the Workforce video. It leads to a management issue, plain and simple.
And that's partly because of one specific group, young men.
Okay, I know I said I was going to focus on the gender war and not talk about politics for a while. However,
I feel this. I'm supposed to be on vacation. However, this did come out. This is something that I do respect her opinion on. I have gotten once again, the Smug Alana video reacting to certain men's issues and specifically having men are lonely because they're watching so much prawn. I was very, very disheartened by that. I'm very defensive when it comes into that. I do respect her opinions and her standpoints. Not that I don't smug Alana's, right? What I can say is that Shoe0nHead did pitch solutions where other creators have not. And that's not to throw shade. That is a critique, right? A criticism, right? Where if somebody says, well, Kip, you're a liar. Other people affect you. I've seen your community posts. I've seen your comment section. Well, yeah, if you're going to attack me, I'm going to say follow through. Come on now. If you're going to throw shade and be like, oh, I'd do this to you, or, sure, follow through. Or, oh, you're a liar. Okay, where's your source? Well, you said this. Okay, where's your source? Follow through. Come on now. Come on. We know how to cite sources. Come on. Give me it. Come on. Bring those allegations. Bring evidence, right? But nobody does that. Let's be real. So I do. I'm giving this video a shot solely on the understanding that I do respect her opinion. While our opinions may differ, and while we even may come to different conclusions, I have a healthy level of respect for Shoe0nHead because I feel that she has earned it. And that's probably because of the amount of videos I've watched and honestly just watching how just direct she is.
A loophole. Politics is talking about gender war. With this election being hailed by the media as the man versus woman election, according to any and all data coming out recently, men all around the world have shifted more right, and women have shifted more left. But women going more left was not the focus of this month's outrage. The outrage, of course, was about men. That's right, we got our yearly, oh no, what is happening to men? Why are they moving to the right freak out? But unlike last year, this freak out isn't solely happening on the internet, no. It's also happening in Washington, D.C.
Well, and that's the thing. We did watch an entire, I think it was MSNBC. I literally can't remember the news network. We reacted to Why Are Men Leaving the Workforce. I was very disappointed with the piece. I felt it was biased. I felt that the qualification of the individuals that were interviewed needed to be questioned. I felt that they had problematic views, especially in regards to, disability just enables, men to not be in the workforce. If that individual is collecting Social Security, that needs to get thrown right back in his face. I don't want to be aggressive. I don't want to be this person who's just this negative person, right? As much as I react to content that is negative. These are serious issues. Issues that not only affect me, but affect others. These are very real issues, and if they aren't addressed, we don't talk to each other and resolve these issues, they will only get worse. I don't know about you. I would much rather be playing Yu-Gi-Oh right now, okay? Playing Yu-Gi-Oh, having some, some spicy root beer, eating a steak dinner, eating a lobster, right? Whole lobster, and just playing Yu-Gi-Oh, throwing damage on a table, right? Or talking about L5R, right? Like, And even then, even in the Discord, I was trying to talk about this, and you can tell people are just uncomfortable. That's not necessarily on them. You can tell that they don't want to talk about the subject. If this was directed at women, this is directed at trans individuals, absolutely, this would be a different conversation. I feel this would be taken a lot more seriously. But why should people care about men? And I think that's what's led to my own logic fallacy in a way, because I found myself today thinking, well, if people don't care about men, why should I care about women? Why should I care about women's issues? And that right there is hitting really bad apathy. That is the problem. To which, obviously, no, I'm a rational human being. Absolutely, I'm going to care about women's issues, right? Why should they pay more for certain things? Why is the pink tax a thing? If there's still a wage gap, why would somebody equally as qualified be paid less if it's just based on their gender, right? Like, taking issues seriously. Equality, once again, breaking down barriers for everyone to reach that same end goal, to be able to treat everyone the same, right? I think that's completely fair. But I think that we've seen a massive burnout at this point, and it's going to lead into, I'm sure, her conclusion on this, where, yeah, people are kind of tired. If you talk about men's issues, who cares? They're just and male. Oh, well, they'll be fine. They're just gonna get to work, But don't take any of that disability, bro. We live in the trip. Like we live in some weird DMT trip.
Are only 46 days until Election Day, and the Harris-Walz campaign is struggling to appeal to a group of voters that could determine the outcome of the election, and that is men.
The Harris campaign is making an aggressive last-minute effort to win over younger male voters.
Am I really going to make a video criticizing the Democrat Party days before the election?
Shoe, question for you, if you actually watch this video. Hi, by the way, love your content. Did you see the World of Warcraft incident where, to appeal to the quote-unquote younger people, World of Warcraft was used on a stream in tandem with whatever they were doing? Mate, World of Warcraft's demographic is like 30, 40, 50. You think someone in high school has enough time to grind things like Mythic Plus and stuff? As somebody who went over briefly to WoW, I'm like, this is different. I'll go back to 14. Not that I hate the game. It's just I see why the game is the way it is. And especially with the grinds and stuff, especially to get your gear every expansion. But like, anyways, we're getting into the weeds here. Back on the point. Did you see that? Because I feel that in itself could be a whole critique in itself. Like that is a whole juicy can right there.
Of course I am. Now, before you celebrate or grab your pitchforks, this is not a pro-Trump video. This is a do better video. This is a mommy's not mad, she's disappointed video.
Sure.
Actually, I lied. Mommy's pretty mad. In this video, I am going to be addressing the Democrats' so-called man problem, the recent discourse about men moving right, the last-minute pandering the Democratic Party is doing to get them back, what they could be doing instead, and of course, going over some terrible opinions. Not my opinions. I have never had a bad opinion in my life.
Never. Absolutely not.
Except that one opinion.
Oh, we don't talk about that opinion.
We don't talk about that one opinion.
No,
in a world where it seems like everything men do and like is toxic, from eating meat to working out to even having a beard. Oh wait, that reminds me. Before we get into this video, let's quickly give a shout out to today's video sponsor, Henson Shaving. If you've used a multi-blade razor, you're probably familiar with this story. Irritation, razor burns, and maybe even ingrown hair. Studies show 2/3 of men experience some form of irritation after shaving. It's something they just expect at this point.
Yeah.
They deal with overpriced blades, irritated skin, and think that's just the way it has to be. Until now. Henson Shaving is on a mission to improve shaving with real innovation and a focus on your skin's health. Their razors are made with solid aluminum, making them not only durable, but environmentally friendly too. There's no plastic involved at all, even in the packaging, and the blades are fully recyclable. What really sets Henson apart is their engineering, with their Henson AL13 safety razor being manufactured in an aerospace machine shop that built parts for the International Space Station. This precision allows the blade to extend just 1/1000th of an inch beyond the shave plane, less than the thickness of a human hair. The razor.
So I do want to point out, this is actually pointing at, so Prime Energy or Prime Logan Paul, right? His whole thing, the Olympic lawsuit, right? And even then, L5R, a game I used to play, Legend of the Five Rings, how they had a different card backing. When you deal with things like the Olympics, they take their branding very seriously. I feel like dealing with like the International Space Station, ISS, NASA, anything like that is also taken seriously, especially when there's so much like fake news, rhetoric, etc., and disinformation and misinformation just spread on social media, that I want to know what their accreditation process is. and if it's held to as high of a standard as, say, the Olympics. Because if so, that's a huge bonus.
It prevents any bouncing or skipping, resulting in an irritation-free shave every time. Henson even partnered with a medical imaging startup, and results indicated that the Henson AL13 razor significantly reduces razor burn in comparison to conventional multi-blade razors. Since I switched to using Henson as my go-to razor brand, my shaves have been more silky and smoother than ever. No more burns or cuts, just a close shave that feels amazing. In other words, no more leg beard. The best part is, once you invest in a Henson razor, it's a lifetime purchase. The only thing you need to repurchase are the blades, which only cost 10 cents each. 10 cents. So once you own a Henson razor, you'll only be spending $3 to $5 a year on blades, compared to the ongoing cost of buying those expensive plastic cartridges. Henson store offers a variety of colors, so you can pick the razor that best fits your style. So head over to hensonshaving.com/shoe and use my special discount SHOE at checkout to get 100 blades for free with your purchase of a Henson razor. Your skin and your environment will thank you. Big thank you to Henson for sponsoring this video, and thank you for not skipping the ad. You didn't skip the ad, right?
I never skip the ad. I don't get why people skip the ad. Like, it's like reactors. I don't get why any reactor would ever skip the ad. It's like, it's free brownie points for transformative content. I thought it was a 9 out of 10. I liked it. The outfit kind of threw me off because of the change, but obviously this is probably done in a completely separate take. She do radiate that mom energy, though. Like that whole, like, oh, cool, I'm sweet, demure mother. And the next minute, she's like, all right, you're going to go to your room where this fist is about to meet your face. I kind of dig it. I kind of dig the vibe. 9 out of 10.
And now, let's get back to the video. If you are a regular viewer to the Shoe0nHead channel, first of all, I'm sorry. But also, you know by now, I have been documenting the internet and society in general's growing and widely accepted hatred of men. This has been happening for a very long time. And if you dare spoke up about it, you were called an incel or a pick-me, depending on your gender. But seemingly, almost out of nowhere, there has been a change of heart.
You know, I think men are in crisis, actually, in this country.
Wow, what a novel concept. What gave that away? Was it male unaliving rates? Like, wow, these people make so much more money than I do. They have education that I don't. How do these, is it lead? Like, is it the leaded gasoline and all the leaded products, chlorofluorocarbon stuff we had in the 60s? Like, what's going on here? How is it taking people so long to reach a conclusion? I'm a nobody on the internet, and I've already not only reached conclusions beyond this, but continue to have these conversations ad infinitum at this point, right? I don't understand it.
I think that plays out different ways, but I think we need to have a real conversation about that.
Wow, that's interesting. Mainstream media talking about this? I wonder why they care so much now. Democrats fear Harris losing too many male voters to Trump.
I would just remove the politics completely. We literally had, as once again, citing why men are leaving the workplace and them explaining why it's a problem, right? Manufacturing going down, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You lose men in a society, suddenly you don't have the hard labor jobs that you necessarily don't want to do, but you want someone to do, and you would want the men to do that, right? I mean, I'm all for, like, women joining the military. I'm all for, like, cool, that's fine, let's boost unit diversity. If something ends up happening in regards to, say, SA, inappropriate stuff, right? Absolutely, that needs to be taken care of, and people in chains of, like, the chain of command in positions of power absolutely need to get their reamed up to dishonorable discharge, 100%. 100% behind that. And it's no different in the civilian workforce, right? If I'm working for an industry, say I'm working in automotive, right? Sure, as long as they're qualified, why not get women in the field, right? Sure. SA, harassment, etc. Okay, yeah, once again, having the conversation. Let's root problematic people out, right? And that being said, there's obviously that, like, middle ground where people are okay with some things, people aren't okay with others, right? So, for example, she could be more raunchy than anyone else in that shop, right? And she'll just go, man, I mean, at least my bush is better than your bill. Oh, and everyone has a good time, right? But then there's a difference, say, if you go behind her, swat her ass, or if you're like me, you have somebody, female coworker come up and just drag their fingers down your back. Okay, let's have a talk about appropriate behavior and appropriate conduct, especially when it comes to touching others, right? Let's have a discussion there. I lost my point completely. Once again, I don't care. Be qualified. Be qualified for your position. I think it just makes everything better.
Oh. Signs have been mounting that, for the first time in recent decades, Democrats may lose majority support from young men in 2024. The risk to Democrats is that this is not just a one-time fluke, but an indication of growing trouble with men in coming elections. Democrats can celebrate the support they are getting from young women, but they also need to take the disaffection of young men seriously, engage them directly, and respond to the visions of manhood and masculinity that Donald Trump and J.D. Vance are offering.
See, they were so close to like apotheosis. They were so close. They could have absolutely made this a non-political thing. They were so close. All they would have had to do is they also need to take disaffection of young men seriously, engage them directly, and respond to the visions of manhood and masculinity. Literally insert Andrew Tate, insert Sneeko, insert non-political figure, right? And even then, once again, well, it's the teacher effect, right? Well, how do I reach these kids, right? And it's like, okay, have you tried talking to the kids? No, I've read this book, I've read these books, I've read these articles, I understand kind of where they're coming from, but have you talked to the kids, right? Teacher standpoint, right? If you have an issue with something, if you're like, well, why is this? Just talk to them. Cool. Men, what is your deal? What is your issue? Why are you so unhappy? Well, I mean, insert laundry list here. Cool. This is how we intend to fix it. This is how it could get fixed. Awesome. Cool. But once again, I feel this rhetoric loses me, right? Once again, politics is idiot. It's idiot theater. It's theater for stupid people. I refuse to watch. I refuse to watch debates. I refuse to watch stuff. It is not worth my time, right? Not that is the extent that I will talk about that. What I can say is that when you start to do this, it's kind of like hearing the word woke, and I hate that word. I hate the word. And I had a conversation recently where it's like, well, the term is being hijacked. Do you know that the gay community took back the F word? Right? You know, the word that I can't say on YouTube, but it means a cigarette over the crown across the pond? You know the gay community took back that word? Certified skill issue status. Don't complain about it, just do it. Actual skill issue. Until then, once again, 99% of conversations that I have, that word comes up in any serious capacity, I just tune it out. It is not worth my time to engage. And even then, that's going to upset someone. You're allowed to be upset. You're allowed to disagree with me. You're allowed to have your own opinion. You are, as it turns out, your own independent individual. It's fine. If you want to take back the word, take it back. Don't complain about it. Just do it. Do or do not. There is no try. But like this is rhetoric that just loses me. Like I tune out, and the final part of this completely discredits everything else. Cool. There's a problem. What's the solution? Oh, we're gonna make this a political thing. Cool. I'm gonna go play Elite Dangerous. New update just launched. Power Play 2.0. I don't care.
Alright, Kamala, you got 2 weeks to reverse anti-male propaganda and resentment fueled by our government, media, and institutions. How you gonna do it? Harris campaign creating space for white dudes. Oh, that's a great idea. I mean, a little too late, but I'm glad you're finally doing to be honest about role in history.
I really disagree with it because it's like that school, and I think it was Ohio. We've talked about it a few times, that was wanting non-white spaces. So you're just wanting segregation? Yeah, we don't want white spaces. We want non-white spaces. Do we need to actually look at like I hate people. I actually unironically hate people. Individual persons I can like. Individual persons I can agree with. Individual persons I can have just, cool, professionally disagree with this. I hate people, dude.
Oh. It's always a space for white men to talk about how much they suck.
What made you start this group, White Dudes for Harris? And I suspect some of it has to do with the...
Why does he look like a tater tot? I don't know why that's a pop. It just looks like a tater tot. I don't know what that is.
The polling.
Yeah, for far too long, the left has essentially ceded white men to the MAGA right. There's large parts of the left who have gone out of their way to alienate white men over the last couple of years. And that's understandable in many ways. We decided that we wanted to create space for white men to be a part of electing Vice President Harris.
At the top of the call.
This reads as just like, sense of plot to kill the Jedi, right? No, this reads as just a publicity stunt. What a weirdly hollow thing to pitch. Like, I'm disappointed.
White Dudes for Harris organizer Ross Morales Roquito said he wanted to address what he called the elephant in the room, criticism surrounding an event organized for white men given the country's history of racism.
Oh, now we're gonna use this as a shield. Oh, we're gonna use this as a shield. Oh no. We literally had this conversation in another video, or it was in the comment section. The one of the lead actresses for The Acolyte, how just absolutely going on a tirade against men and saying, you know, oh, you're just racist and oh, Disney should be doing this. If that was a dude, he would have been canned. To which people are like, well, that could give them sort of a like token. Well, you're just being racist if you're against this actress, even though this actress is literally like being, in my opinion, vitriolic, right? And even calling out her own, like the company that is paying her. What a weird. I should never be the bar for success. I should never be the bar for reasonability in any capacity, okay? I'm a hermit. I play Pokemon. I play Yu-Gi-Oh, right? I will leave my house every couple of days because I want to do stuff and I can only do so much rat content in a given period of time, right? I'm going out to SCA this weekend. Gonna have fun. Gonna go do rapier stuff. Gonna go bring a longsword. Gonna go get stabbed in my armor. It's gonna be great. But, like, I should never be the bar for success. Like, we literally live in idiocracy, and it frustrates me by the day.
A lot of people felt uncomfortable about the call, he said. Throughout American history, when white men organized, it was often with pointy hats on. They can't even have their gay little Zoom call where they circle jerk about hating themselves without their own movement going, yikes! A bunch of white males in one space? Seems kind of like the KKK. Black people can have their little groups and that's fine, but if a bunch of white people get together, well, that's just called bread tube.
I mean, that's one of those things that kind of just like what is it? I don't remember what it's the Black Panthers. I don't remember what the equivalent was for the black community. But there was is when I was in high school, a lot of people were going around saying that obviously they were shit posting, right? I mean, in any sort of severity, it's like you bring a swastika to school. I mean, like, yeah, cool, you're done, right? You bring paraphernalia like that, you're done, right? It's interesting because, yeah, absolutely. No, I have no love for the KKK. Nah, I'm good. Racism bad. It's interesting to think about similar groups in other demographics and how those could be even seen as okay or justified. And I think, once again, I go back to the Unsubscribed podcast. If you have a statement, and by replacing one word in the statement, it becomes problematic, you might have a flawed ideology. You might have a flawed statement. I think that was Eli who said that specifically, right? So if you're like, I hate all white people, right? But you replace white with black, Asian, Puerto Rican, Chinese, Japanese, Korean, right, etc. And then it's seen as problematic. We might, as it turns out, have a problematic viewpoint that's not a hard reach to understand.
Never mind. White dudes for Harris. I mean, she's doing pretty bad with Latinos, too. What's next? Hombres con Harris? Oh. So basically, men are leaving the Democratic Party in droves, and it's not looking too good for the Democrats. So it wasn't long until everyone's favorite discourse hit Twitter again. If Kamala loses, which is very possible, there needs to be a real discussion about how Democrats speak to and reach young men. If Kamala loses. If she wins, there doesn't have to be discussion. We shouldn't change anything. Clearly, we're doing everything right. To be clear, I'm not saying we need to worry about women less or change any positions. I'm saying the polling around young men is concerning, and if it turns out to be true, we need to have a discussion about how condescending we are coming off to a huge part of the electorate. To be clear, I'm not
How about, hear me out, F the electorate, let's just treat people with kindness and compassion and care. Which, yes, I'm being paradoxical because I've literally said in this video that I hate people. Like, people make my brain hurt. Once again, though, treat people with kindness and respect. If you're like, hey, Kip, hope you're having a good day. Cool, awesome. If you're like, Kip, you're stealing valor by being a civilian doing military videos, I'm going to give you a middle finger, right? Proportional response, right? Look at the fat electrician videos for proportionality.
Saying we have to change anything, I'm just wondering why men aren't voting for us. What? I am gonna regret posting this so hard. And oh boy did he, the replies were insane, to say the least. I must admit, I cringed reading most of this. I feel that one thing you didn't address is the systemic entitlement bestowed upon white men in the US. That sense of entitlement, that privilege they felt for eternity, is eroding. Systemic entitlement they have felt for eternity? They're like 22 years old! The f*** do you mean eternity? Who is it?
So this gets into sins of the father territory, right? Is it ethical? Is it logical? Say, dear viewer, if you were to slight me in some capacity, like let's go back to, like medieval era, right? That kind of thing, right? If you were to commit a grave atrocity against me, against my family, and I were to say, nah, be gone, peasant, be gone, thought, and your name was ran through the mud, like you did something, you slighted me, and you were effectively outcast, and then you had a son, and then his son had a son. Is it fair of me to go after your grandson? And this actually becomes a large macro debate, because this is quite literally an issue we deal with the world over. Is sins of the father necessarily ethical? Is it right? Is it correct? Is it morally justified? And I think people at some point sooner or later in our evolutionary minds, we're going to need to discuss that. We will need to confront that, and we will come to a decision if it is okay or if it is not okay. We're not at that point yet. We can't look beyond Lamau, your Ann woman. Lamau can't lift 300 pounds. Okay, nobody's lifting 300 pounds. As far as I'm aware, OSHA says 70. So that's clearly a workplace and a management issue. Actually get bent? Skill issue status management? Like, please?
It's like 200-year-old man. So young men are snowflakes with hurt fifis because they're not the center of attention anymore. Got it. So are they poor little snowflakes, boo-hoo, or are they scary fascists that are going to turn America into The Handmaid's Tale? Because they can't. You gotta pick one or the other. You cannot have conflicting rhetoric. Like, obviously, once again, reasonable conflicting rhetoric. I hate this game. I love this game, right? Say you're playing Call of Duty, right? God, I hate this game, but you enjoy playing the game. Or me and Destiny, right? I have absolutely gone on record saying Destiny 2 is a game that is an abuse of X. Sometimes she just needs to go off, find herself a little bit. We'll come back together, see if things spark, right? That kind of thing. So you can have a love-hate with it. Absolutely. You cannot, like, say an absolute. You can even say it's like hyperbolic, that kind of thing. But like, you cannot say things in absolutes. I cannot say that, like, what's a good example? All women belong in the kitchen versus, well, all women belong in the workforce. They're as qualified as any man. You gonna pick one of these two? You see how there's a difference in that between, like, God, I hate this game, or God, man, sometimes this guy really gets on my nerves, but you're still kind of friends, or you're still like, how there's like a lesser thing to that. I mean, you're splitting hairs to really find some sort of morality in there, or some sort of like actual like through line. But when you're saying actually conflicting things and you're trying to pitch it as like facts, yeah, we're gonna run into issues. I think that's fair and reasonable, right? Like, you want to be a trad wife? Sure. Why should I stop you? Why should anyone stop you? If you want to be this boss girl, you want to absolutely run the floor at a factory, go for it. Sure. You want to be this, you want to be women in the Marine Corps. Go for it. Why should anyone stop you? It's not my life. You're allowed to make your own decisions. Can't be both. You either care about the future or you don't. You cannot simultaneously hand wave away men moving to fascism, but also fearmonger about it. Hi, man here. Maybe men just need to stop being absolute pieces of dog shit. It seems like the easiest thing to do.
Ah, yes, the overbroad generalizations. That's the one.
Right? I don't feel alienated or uncomfortable with democratic messaging because I'm not a complete wannabe fascist cheese dick incel loser who thinks he's the good guy. Reddit and its consequences have been a disaster for the male race. They just need to get off their asses, stop playing video games, and get real jobs.
Oh man, dude, look at this guy. Look at this guy. He probably didn't even know his camera worked when he took that. The picture's worth 1,000 words. Everything I need to know about this man's personality is in that picture accompanying this tweet. Good God.
First of all, what real jobs? These guys are coming out of college with useless diplomas and there are no jobs. Also, what an out-of-touch boomer-ass take. Get off your ass and stop playing those video games from the—
Well, you know what? To him, which I respond, then that's fine. Find a real job. I expect you as well to do your part in whatever work that you're doing and do not reap benefits off of either disability, Social Security, etc. You should be in a real job, as you clearly can speak from an authoritarian standpoint, right? You're an authority figure on this, and that's fine. You're going to be skipping breaks and lunches, much like I did when I worked in finance, when I worked in other jobs. Oh, wait, but you don't, oh, well, you're entitled to your lunches and breaks, but that's not how the job gets done, especially when you're on a deadline, right? So you're going to be skipping your lunches and breaks, right? No? Okay. Sit down. Shut up.
generation who watches TV 24/7. I don't want to hear it. Tell them to get therapy. Tell them whatever you told or gave to women in the 1950s. They made this bed, let them sleep alone in it. Or be f***ing better men. Any other group of people and it's, oh, boo-hoo, poor baby. Let me rewire all of society so your feelings aren't hurt. And then with...
So she does this correctly. To which I cited earlier, me trying to have a genuine conversation on this, and it just making people uncomfortable, and them just like, now we're going to turn the conversation this way. If this was any other group of people we were talking about, insert the trans problem, insert the woman problem, insert protected status problem, right? You see how I'd be having a different conversation? I'm not, as a man, saying I should be treated on a pedestal above anyone else. I feel that basic respect and common decency would be a start, right? I think that'd be a bonus. Being able to just like, okay, cool, yeah, let's talk, let's engage with each other, let's have a fun time, right? But when you're consistently just like Lamau, get to work, Lamau, incel, insert derogatory statement here. You see how that starts to lead people to an apathetic standpoint? I feel like it's Pavlov at work. If you are a man, or you're anybody really, and you try to engage with something and the response is always negative, what do you expect the result to be? Do you expect the result to be negative? Do you expect the result to be positive? Do you expect it to be a mixed bag? Especially over prolonged exposure. If I made 100 videos, and every single video that I did was talking about this very subject, or male loneliness, right? And every single time I got told by, say, 3 specific commenters, right? Or 3 commenters all throughout, right? Median 3, right? And I was told, oh, you're just a man, you're just entitled, grow up, right? Do you think I want to engage with this anymore? This is actually probably the last video I'm going to do on this topic, because why should I bother? If anything, from a metric standpoint, and I invite you to look, this video will probably get at most maybe 3,000 views. And that's fine. Smug Alana will do her reaction. It will be far better than mine. It will have far more metrics than mine. There will be other reactors who are female, non-binary, trans, and they're going to have reactions that far exceed mine. Nobody really wants to hear a man talk on the subject, and that's fine. So therefore, through a repeated exposure to something over a long enough period of time, I have come to the conclusion that this is not what people want to see. This is not what people like. Why should people care what I have to say? And why am I not just letting other people do it, right? At that point, I have hit apathy. People may discuss this to their heart's content, but do not involve me in it. That's kind of where my mind is going at this point. And like, once again, Shoe0nHead's never going to watch this, right? As a man on the internet, it is one of those things where the apathy, I think, comes from that repeated exposure. And at a certain point, is it necessarily justified or fair to demonize or criminalize or look negatively on someone who has apathy through repeated exposure? If the core issues aren't getting hit, right, can we necessarily be mad at people for becoming apathetic or becoming desensitized, right? And obviously, if it's something like, if we're going to go to like, oh, well, why should I care about women's issues, right? Why should I care about this? Okay, but once again, reasonable adult, right? Reasonable human being. What I'm more referring to is apathy in regards to, seeing messaging like in tweets, trying to be the target of people, trying to feel like I'm a demographic being talked at. I know for me personally, anytime I hear, why are men doing this? Why is this happening? And repeatedly, I've just had videos where women say, well, it's the prawn addiction, right? It is being exposed to 18 plus materials. And, oh, this is why you're lonely. And this is why you're lonely. And this is why you're lonely. And it's just recycled garbage rhetoric. I feel like that's a huge factor into why a lot of men do what they're doing, or why a lot of men check out in the capacity that they are. And absolutely, I'm not going to say there's all men are perfect. No, I have my flaws. There are absolutely bad men out there, but I do know that there are bad women out there. 100%. Once again, gone over very awful events that I personally have experienced at the hand of women. I do not blame all women. It is the few narcissistic, abusive, toxic personalities that will swing and hit me, or worse, right? Which I have experienced both. That doesn't reflect on all women. But somehow, a man like me can have this cognizance, but seemingly women don't have this. Once again, see, broad generalization, right? Shoe0nHead clearly understands this. Other women I've seen just don't get it, and I don't know what that is. I feel like part of what's happened is men have been told to get better, to get good, so to speak, skill issue even, and a lot of us have kind of put in the work to where I helped a friend out recently with a couple of them actually with kind of their relationship issues. And it's like, okay, but I am a 29-year-old dude who has been single for the past however many years, coming out of abusive relationships, and I can clearly talk about these things, and I can clearly I can help them reach conclusions that they wouldn't have otherwise. But I'm also the bad guy, and I just, skill issue, all men bad. It's just brain numbing to me. It's mind rotting. Like it leaves me with the conclusion my time is better spent doing other things. And I will probably not react to another topic on this, right? Regardless of creator, because trying to be a male voice in the sphere, people just don't want to watch it, and that's fine. Give them what they want to watch, right? Watch Shoe0nHead directly. Wink, wink down in the description. It's just it's mind numbing to me. The apathy does make sense. The not caring does make sense. The male unaliving rate starts to make sense, right? There's so much here, and it feels like people are just behind, and that it's even remotely okay to spout, we just need, we don't need men. That's fine. Oh, well, we need to put all men in camps. When my response to that is just fine, do it, we have entered an apathetic stance. We have entered a negative game state, and that should never have to be the case, and it really shouldn't be said about anybody. That's a short mini rant.
Then it's get therapy. Be f***ing better. While there is truth in messaging needs to be better from Democrats as a whole, I reject that telling young men they need to be better is the problem. They are trash in their nature, and if they can't do the work to not be toxic waste of seed, that's on them.
What a weird comment.
Vote for my team, by the way. We may not want to hear it, but this is what the data reflects. There is a massive loneliness epidemic in this country, which is disproportionately affecting men. Instead of calling them incels or mocking them, we should be willing to hear out their concern.
My God. There's a problem? There's a potential problem? We need to investigate this by asking the people directly affected? No way, bro.
Wow, a surprisingly good tweet in a sea of bullshit. That's nice to see. I could be wrong, but I'm assuming you're a straight white man, so yeah, go do something about it. Why are you guys bothering the rest of us with this? I can't figure
Why does homeboy look like a wannabe, like Wish.com Andrew Tate?
it out. Because I would like for Democrats to win the election. Why do you care about men suffering? Because I want to win the election. Amazing.
That is why having an ulterior motive is bad, and that is how it can come back negatively on you. Let's say I wanted to be respectful of Shoe0nHead, right? And I feel I've been fairly respectful in regards to like, yeah, no, I respect her standpoint, right? But then it comes like, well, why are you respectful of her? If I were to say, oh, well, I just want to get on a podcast with Shoe0nHead, I think it'd be cool. Do you see how that has a different meaning than I react to Shoe0nHead because I respect her opinions? She doesn't watch these, but I feel like she brings good points to the table. She's taking stances and making valid defenses, in my opinion. I try to, as well, respect people's content when I react to them, and I think that they're just cool people. If I didn't think they were cool people, would I react to them? Probably not, considering some of my reactions get like 200 views. Like, you see how one being like, oh yeah, cool, no, I just want to react to it because I think they're cool. I want them to reach more people. I think that they're bringing something really interesting to the table versus, oh, Lamau, I just want to be their friend, or, oh, I just want this from them. You see how both of those have different meanings? You see how one is just scummy, and even if you have good intentions, you saying that, it just completely pollutes the actual thing you were trying to say. Am I alone here in understanding that? Because clearly I'm not. Shoe0nHead's also complaining about this.
The issue right here. Start seeing men as people and not numbers in polls. That is step one. You can't even do step one. Anyway, there were thousands of these kind of tweets in response to this guy. You get it. We've seen it all before. If I went through all of them, this video would be 3 hours long.
Yeah.
White Dudes for Harris wasn't the only strange attempt the Democrats threw out at the last second to get the male vote.
Hey, white dudes. So, I think we're all pretty sick of hearing how much we suck. Every time you go online, it's the same story. We're the problem. And yeah, some white dudes are. Trump and all his MAGA buddies are out there making it worse.
What is this weird... I already looked away. Like, what is this ad? Like, what is... This hurts my head. It really is just theater for idiots. It's theater for stupid people. I will continue to shout that for the... I'm just going to become George Carlin. I need to watch more of his skits. I'm just going to become George Carlin as I age. I'm just going to actually just like... Oh, God. What are you, stupid? More and more, I love that man.
Are you kidding me? Years of these people saying men suck and are the problem, and now they're like, hey fellow men, are you sick of being told you suck and are the problem? The audacity. Apparently, Kamala Harris has a secret weapon to win over male voters.
Kamala Harris is turning to her running mate, Tim Walz.
Are we gonna go Vermin Supreme? Everyone gets a pony? Dude, at least it's a pony? At worst, you have glue. There's your dark joke for the video.
Hoping he is the secret weapon who can chip away at Donald Trump's support from men.
Much
I literally have no idea who this is, and I don't think I care.
like how Trump chose Pence to win over the more establishment Republican voters, Kamala seems to have chosen Tim Walz to try and win over the white male vote. And boy, are they trying. Now, I don't hate Tim Walz. In fact, I was pleasantly surprised when they chose him over Josh Shapiro. I like a lot of his policies, like his universal school lunch policy. That's an amazing policy. You'd have to be an insane freak to disagree with that. Or a libertarian. But I repeat myself. And there were a few times where he was speaking where I completely forgot he was running to be Kamala's VP and not president himself. And he actually brought a lot of energy to the Democratic stage for once. So what the f was this? Putting out a bunch of ads of Tim Walz changing the air filter in a car, clumsily shooting a gun, and
dude, that's how you lose. Oh, no, please, dude, no. You want to alienate your audience, just do something badly, right? Like
a bunch of ads of Tim
Sure, car, I don't know. Cars are enigma machines to me.
Walz changing
Whatever.
the air filter in a car,
I see this, and especially as someone who has content that I try to focus on safety, education, security with firearms, right? This looks bad, dude. Like, this actually is a, like, feels bad skill issue, get good moment. Like, what? I have no clue who this man is. And just seeing this, like, actually makes my mouth pucker into a bunghole of cringe. Wow. Dude is just looking here. He's like, I bet he's laughing to himself. Good God. Like, and that's the thing is, if you're trying to appeal to someone, trying to appeal to an audience demographic, whatever, don't suck, right? If I'm trying to speedrun, insert game, Resident Evil 4, Pokemon Fire, Red, Leaf, Green, right? If I'm trying to speedrun it, and I'm like 5 hours over, like, reasonable, who's going to watch that? No, they want to watch the speedrun. They want to watch the run, the tactics. They want to watch that, like, oh, cool, is he going to get it? Is he not? You know, how close is he going to be? What is he going to learn from this run, right? Sure, some people might put on as background entertainment, right? But if I'm like, trying to do a Resident Evil 4 Berserker Plus mod pro run, and I keep dying at Village, who's gonna care? Right? It's like, I don't think that's a controversial take. Just don't suck. As somebody who sucks at video games.
Shooting a gun and drawing a political football play-by-play, trotting out Walz like some kind of minstrel show of a white man, like a man dressing up like a man for Halloween. You don't gotta do all this, bro, I promise you. And they don't shy away about how that's exactly what they are trying to do. Tim Walz is clearly a Midwest man's man, but he's the antidote to toxic MAGA masculinity. Despite his typically masculine resume as a Midwestern football coach and veteran, Walz is utilizing those qualities to push forward a more progressive, compassion-based form of masculinity. Part of being a vice president is understanding that you are just that, someone who is there to aid and support the president. Walz simply being there on the ticket with a woman and taking a back seat to his running mate, Vice President Kamala Harris, is him embracing his leadership role in a positive masculine way.
Positive masculinity. Look at Aragorn, Viggo Mortensen from Lord of the Rings. Look at Samwise Gamgee. There are so many other like positive masculine roles in media that we can take inspiration from. I don't know. I don't know anything about this man. I don't really care to. Right? Political figure. He's not winning me over, especially with clumsy firearms usage. I think that is a reasonable across the board dismissal of somebody. If you're going to be an idiot with a gun, if you're not going to use a gun safely, if you're going to improperly use a gun, yeah, why should I care? Why should I give you the time of day? If not, I should be criticizing you for bad usage. I think that's completely fair and reasonable, especially considering how hot button of a topic it is, considering that there's a lack of actual education and lack of safety. Yeah, so I get pretty pissed off when people do stuff like that.
Football coach and cheerleader, how Tim Walz is defining masculinity. Amy Deal, a sexism researcher and author of the 2023 book Glass Walls, told USA Today that men like Walls who are intentional about rejecting traits and beliefs commonly dubbed as toxic masculinity are the tonic to harmful stigma associated with expectations of men and boys. He shows you can be masculine but also not threatened by women as equals or women who are in positions of power. In fact, you can be cheerleaders for them.
So hear me out. The tonic, the solution, the tonic to the problem. So hear me out. Oh, people say men talking to each other and having kind of like men's spaces, like in a game lobby, is toxic. Yeah, they're entitled to their opinion. Screw it. I'm going to do it anyways. Yeah? Yeah. Recognizing BS or recognizing when somebody's being dumb or unfairly critical. Yeah. Just saying, F it, I'm gonna do my own thing, right? Yeah. Works a lot.
Notice the common theme here: taking a back seat, cheerleading. Like 5 different articles I read specifically use this word cheerleading. Even a few about Kamala Harris's husband, Doug. God knows we need an antidote for all the lousy men in the news, and I think I found one. A lovable goofball who is happy to cheerlead for his wife, the Vice President of the US. Thank God for Doug Emhoff. Successful guys can support their wives and be respected. You don't have to be the quarterback to play the game at an elite level. Emhoff and his breed of dudes who are giving it their best shot may never be as come hither to lost young men as the militant Andrew Tate models of manhood, but they are out there, and, not unlike good husbands, will appear when they are needed.
So I want to point out here, we're going to point out the core fallacy in this statement. You are trying to tell men what to do. You need to be a cheerleader. You need to be supportive. You need to be, you need to be there. Not, unlike those bad husbands out there. And, those militant Andrew Tate followers are going to be lost. Okay. Once again, why does Andrew Tate appeal to men, right? Let's go back to the core. Let's break this down into basic building blocks, right? Andrew Tate, Sneeko, red pill, whatever you want to call it, sees success with men because even though they propose the wrong solutions, they are still talking to men. They are still acknowledging the issues of men. They are still like, hey, dude, you're feeling this. Here's the solution. Yeah, solution's not good, but thank you for at least talking to me. That kind of thing, right? Whereas here, does this not come across as condescending? Does this not come across as dismissive? Well, if you're one of those militant Andrew Taters... Wow, I don't know. I'm going to use Andrew Tater now. That's actually really funny. And ironically funny. You can, see how this comes across and why this is going to, push an audience away. Because not only are you telling people what to do, people don't want to get told what to do, right? People hate being told what to do. You're also being dismissive. And you're also trying to push an agenda. You don't have to be the quarterback to play the game at an elite level. It comes across as disingenuous, at least to me. I don't know. Maybe she actually has a lot of experience in American football. It's possible that she could, right? I don't know. I wouldn't say, play Yu-Gi-Oh! At a elite level. Yeah, you're playing Yu-Gi-Oh! At a competitive level. The word choice there just feels off to me, and it feels like it's pandering in certain capacity. But maybe I'm being overly critical. This comes across as condescending. This comes across as, why should I listen to you? You're just wanting to push an agenda.
From the outside looking in, the right promises young men a return to the good times, of the glorious past. The one your grandfather had. The Coca-Cola ad rose-tinted version of the past. Back when
all I'm saying, Coca-Cola used to have trace amounts of a certain substance in it. Maybe, just maybe, if we were to return to that, or incentivize workplace culture with substances like that, maybe life would be a little better. This is clearly satire. This is clearly meant to be a shitpost. Unless...
you can afford a house and support a family on one income. While the left, which historically, in my opinion, had the policies to make that happen, are instead trying to sell men a vision of the future. And well, the future is female. A future where you're no longer playing the game, men. You're on the sidelines being a cheerleader. Doesn't that just sound so exciting?
So here's the thing. If we're on the sides being cheerleaders, if anyone's on the side, right? Let's say you have 12 people. So perfect point in case, right? Perfect point in case. Me going to Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Me getting in round 4, getting the bye. If I'm just going to sit there and have to wait the entire next round to get prizing, why am I just going to sit there just watching others play the game and have fun? Just sit there. I don't, so I leave. I just say, F it. I paid to get in this tournament. I don't want prizing. I'm going to leave, right? Let's liken this to football, right? Let's say that you have 2 teams of football, and on one team, or on each team, you have an odd one out, right? But the odd one out isn't necessarily the best player, so therefore, the person never gets rotated in. Are they not going to get bored? Are they not going to go, look, I'm happy for you guys. I'm going to do my own thing, though. Which is reasonable, right? If I were to have a community day, right? Let's say we're doing 1v1 in Pokemon. Let's say we're doing 1v1s in Rust, mate, right? 1v1 Modern Warfare 2 Rust. And I have somebody who's been waiting for a half hour, but I keep 1v1ing this one specific person over and over. Are they not going to leave? They can be happy. They can say, you know, hey, I'm happy for you, but I want to do something else with my time. I want to do something where my time is valued, where they're going to be respected. Do you see how that's a reasonable conclusion that shouldn't necessarily be demonized? You can support someone or something and also say, I'm happy for you guys, but I want to do something else with my time. What a novel concept.
What the hell is going on inside these DNC consultant meetings? I really gotta know. Does anyone have any ideas on how to appeal to young men? And please, for the love of God, do not say we have to offer them anything or change in any way.
I got it.
What?
Camo hats.
We did that.
Vasectomy bus.
We did that.
What?
Have you perhaps tried nagging them?
Yes, we've been doing that. Say, you know that whole male loneliness epidemic thing? Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Oh, yeah.
A really nice place. Have you been here before?
Yeah, it's one of my favorite spots. I bring everybody here.
I said not go on a lot of dates, but...
Hey man, if you don't vote for Kamala Harris, women won't fuck you. Brilliant. Young.
Joke's on you. They don't as is. You know, I really feel like I'm missing a bullet by just not engaging in the modern dating pool. I feel like I'm missing a massive bullet, which on one hand is sad, right? Good agree, right? On the other hand, I'm just like, this ad affects me absolutely zero. Like, I like how Pirate Software said it best. So if we're gonna word this in the way Pirate Software did. Pirate Software said the extent that he wants to discuss voting is, and he was, this is over on Twitter. I think he actually reposted the tweet. Was dude just saying I voted? That's it. No reasoning. Not who he voted for. Nothing. I voted. Cool. Chat member, you voted. Grats. Cool. Good on you. Chat member, you said F it. Didn't want to do it. Cool. Good on you. That's your choice. That's your decision. Oh, but Kip, do you want to talk about Hoop? Nope, I really don't. It's none of your business. Maybe if you're close enough to me, I mean, with friends, I openly tell them who I voted for, but that's just for discussionary purposes, right? Plus, I know that I know them. It's not an internet random. I voted. I didn't vote. Grats. That's the end of the conversation. That should be normalized. That should be how it is.
Men should know that if you vote for Trump, you're basically never going to get laid. I mean, is it incorrect? Don't think so. Trump gives girls the ick. Vote Harris.
Did you know that Twitter actually has a button to report political ads? Just throwing that out there. Whether it does something or not, I mean, the button exists. It exists. You can go report, and you can say political ad, and then it'll just file the report for you. All I'm saying.
Laid. They are not beating the pretending to be progressive to get laid allegations with this one. Literally just endorsing woke fishing. When men pretend to be more progressive on dating apps to get laid. Do not do this, by the way. Be open and honest about your opinions. And no, you cannot fix them. Also, pretty weird.
I can fix her. My type is the red flag, and that is the problem. Like, what do you mean? Oh, she's got a couple quirks, got a couple. No. She is the red flag. I can fix her, guys. I can fix her. No, but seriously, like honestly, like, should you necessarily be going out to a first? If I went out to a first date and somebody was just politics, I don't care. Nah, you clearly do not have a personality beyond this. That being said, right, second, third, down the line, right? Okay, what are your thoughts on this? Well, sure, let's talk about some macro issues. Let's go talk about domestic policy. Let's talk about foreign affairs. Let's talk about how foreign affairs is affecting domestic policy. Absolutely. You got to build up to that, okay? You don't go in expecting the full, absolute, suspension shibari candle wax kit, right? You don't go in with that. You build up to that. Some people do, okay? But they're having the necessary discussions to go into that. Like there's a difference. You start with the vanilla, okay? Start with the vanilla, add a little spice as you go up, okay? You don't start out with the extreme. So, right, like, oh, cool, I like that bag. And like, oh, yeah, no, this is cool. And then she talks about, you know, oh, what the influence for wanting to get a bag like this is, why she likes that design. Okay, cool, right? She's like, what are you into? Well, I'm into games. Well, what games are you into? Well, I mean, I play competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! I used to be a Pokemon professor. It's like, oh, cool. What are you talking about? Like, what's your favorite Pokemon? You know, haven't played Yu-Gi-Oh! In years. How is it? You see how that organically just creates conversations that don't have to devolve into serious macro issues? Holy crap, dude, I miss it. I literally miss the era when people didn't have to cover macro issues. And now I'm just kind of at this age where people in my age bracket just have to cover issues because it feels like they're not getting addressed. It's a weird situation to be in.
And like low-key sexist to imply like women are some prize for voting the correct way.
Correct. I would say that would be objectifying women, would you not?
Hey, and if all else fails, go after the Gooner vote.
Nice. Nice.
Sorry, you can't do that.
What the hell, man? How'd you get in here?
I'm your Republican congressman. Now that
Republican congressman, I'm going to blink twice. Do not touch me. You know, let's actually take the Republican out of that. So, someone in this situation, I'm just like, dude, this is some Epstein levels. Dude, there's no shot somebody thought this was a good idea. I'm watching this and I'm laughing because my immediate comment is, how many kids has he touched? Oh my God. There's no way this got okayed.
we're in charge, we're banning porn nationwide.
Wow.
I'm sorry. I love this ad. The one time they speak to men directly, and it's, hey men, the Republicans are gonna take away one of the only vices you use to numb the pain. So vote for us. Bleak. Just the
I saw the Faku list recently. Most of the US looks up Futanari. California somehow likes Netarare, which I can kind of see. Was it Maine? I think it was Maine that had cheating. The Faku tag map was wild. Idaho, Utah, pretty sure as well. I saw that Fuda. I saw you look at those Fuda tags.
absolute state of the world right now. Also, was that Germa? Believe it or not, this wasn't the worst of it.
I'm a man.
I'm a man.
I'm a man, man. And I'm man enough.
I'm man enough to enjoy a barrel-proof bourbon.
Neat.
Man enough to cook my steak rare. You think I'm afraid to rebuild a carburetor? I eat carburetors for breakfast.
I'll tell you another thing I sure as shit am not afraid of. Women.
When I first saw this, I thought it was...
I'm terrified of women. You kidding me? I enter a grocery store and I'm like just behind Ann Woman and I'm just like, nah, I don't want to get accused of following somebody. So I just veer off 90 degrees to the left. I will go aisles over to just avoid it. Because I don't know if that's necessarily like actual fear or if that's just conditioning from like modern society and interactions. But yeah, no, I don't. I just veer 90 degrees to the left. Not worth my time. I don't want to make them feel uncomfortable.
A parody created by Republicans to make fun of how hard the Democratic Party is trying to pander to men to get their vote. But alas.
I love women.
I love women who support their families.
Women who decide not to have families.
Women who take charge.
And I'm man enough to help them win.
Sure, everything was pretty reasonable. Everything's pretty common sense, I would argue. But now we're going to ham-fist a political ad here. Way to completely devalue your entire build-up. It's like reading the story, but getting to the conclusion, and the actual like story conclusion resolution is garbage. Like you built up all of this for like 300 pages, and that was the payoff. That's what you went with? I don't know. Just this is what I feel ruins common sense takes.
Everything from them directed towards men has to have like this tone of irony or self-deprecation. They can't even do it sincerely. But apparently white men aren't the only demographic Kamala is struggling with.
This is the Democratic margin among black men under the age of 45 in presidential elections. You go back to November of 2012, what do you see? You see Obama by 81. Clinton only won him by 63. Then we're all the way down to Biden last time around by 53. a tremendous drop already. And then you take a look at the average of the most recent polls, and Kamala Harris is up by only 41 points.
Democrats deployed their ultimate weapon, Barack Obama. At a campaign stump for Harris on
Is that a certified thanks Obama meme moment? Does that count?
Thursday in Pittsburgh, Obama said that despite Harris raising upward of $1 billion, we have yet to see the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running. That lag in energy, he added, appears, quote, to be more pronounced with the brothers. You're coming up with all kinds of reasons and excuses. I've got a problem with that, he said, because part of it makes me think, and I'm speaking to men directly, part of it makes me think that, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman for president, and you're coming up with other alternatives and other reasons for that.
I mean, so here's the thing. Vote for someone based on merit. Don't vote because of, what they are. Factors they cannot control, right? So do not vote for somebody because, would love to have an woman president. Vote because, cool, yeah, I agree with what they say. I disagree with what the other party's saying, and, kind of two-party mentality, right? Like have valid reasons, right? Like, I don't know. I think we're into a hot territory with that, because I've definitely talked to people who are like, I voted for this because, voted for this person because woman, or I didn't want to vote for this person because woman, from women I've seen, right? From women I've interacted with, right? Like, I don't know. It just comes across as tone deaf. But then again, I'm also a promote based on merit. If you promote incompetence, you will get incompetence. And that is very evident in the workplace. If you promote homeboy, right? If you promote your coworker who is notorious for laxing around, not doing his job, putting his work on you, and they promote him, that's just going to make the issue work. You promote incompetence, you get incompetence. So, I don't know. Like, I was going somewhere with that. I don't even know anymore. My brain is just checking out. Like, there's so much being slung at me. I could not care less about like any of these ads. Like, from an analytical standpoint, I view this as problematic. I like trying to pick the puzzle together and piece together the solution, right? To be able to piece together the larger picture. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I mean, these aren't going to affect me. But then again, I'm also not the demographic that they're trying to swing, right? I would argue, a fairly educated individual. I view this as just idiotic marketing. I'm not exactly who they're trying to pitch to, right? They're trying to pitch people who are kind of on the fence, who don't know, who are easily swayed and influenced, right? There's that word, influenced. Like influencers trying to sell moldy cheese.
Once again, their only tactic seems to be getting in a man's face and going, tisk tisk bad boy. Like a dog that just peed on the carpet. It's not 2014 anymore, Barack. Nobody cares.
Some people are into that, okay? Some people would pay good money to be told, tisk tisk good bad boy, go sit down. Some people pay top dollar for that.
About sexism, motherfucker. We can't afford groceries. What's crazy is, as far as I know, Kamala herself has never played the woman card. She has never played the sexism card. Good. In fact, she actively pushes against it.
You've been reluctant to lean into, to talk about the historic nature of your candidacy on the campaign trail. Why is that?
Well, I'm clearly a woman. I don't need to point that out to anyone. The point that most people really care about is, can you do the job? And do you have a plan to actually focus on them?
I was proud. It's like they finally learned from Hillary Clinton's failure. But that didn't stop the media or Barack Obama from doing it for her. Thanks, Obama. For all the Zoomers, thanks, Obama was a meme in 2008. Yeah.
Oh, God, I remember 2008. That was a long time ago. You have to understand, when we talk about the ancient memes, talk about awkward penguin, talk about overly attached girlfriends. Oh man, that's like Mesozoic. That is so long ago. Who Touching My Spaghetti is only 7 years old at this point, something like that. That feels like early 1100s. Good God. Internet memes just evolve so fast. It's like peering into a history textbook.
It was funny back then. That would have slapped. While I was writing this video, Kamala and Gretchen Whitmer were getting ready to film a video at a bar together when Kamala was apparently caught on hot mic saying this.
Yeah. Oh, we have microphones in here just listening to everything.
Wow, it's almost like you're a public figure and paparazzi are notorious. Wow, what a novel concept, especially when you're in a public setting, especially if you're in a state that's not a two-party consent state when it comes to recording. Wow, what an interesting thing. Oh, we have cameras. What? Bro, what a weird... There's no way. There's no way. No way.
Realize that. Okay. So, well,
You'll
now
bleep
you tell
my
us.
F words.
We just told all the family secrets. Shit.
We need to move ground with men, so what we're gonna do is pretend to drink beer at a bar. Men like beer, right?
Cheers. Cheers.
Just talk about policy. Just be yourself. Just listen to men and what they want. Come on.
This is why I respect Shoe0nHead. This is why, as charged as the subject is, this is why, as bad as my reactions are, this is why, as much of a disservice I feel that I do to her reactions, pausing as much as I do. Because let's be real, I do react content, quote unquote, but it's more commentary at this point. It's more like live commentary. This is why I respect her. Because we may, like, professionally disagree on certain things. And even then, there's things that I've learned from her. There's things that I still take inspiration from. I think I take her, will make good content to an extreme, right? Because absolutely, she was absolutely right with the Embrace the Shadows incident, where having issues with your YouTube content, just make good content, make better content, which is true. I think I do pervert it and take it to the extreme, though, where I actually will push myself to the point of being sick to push out like 4 videos a day, right? And that's vacation, right? So I do respect her because that is a very common sense take. That shows a lot of cognizance, that shows a lot of intelligence, that shows a lot of integrity, that shows a lot of understanding and comprehension. And that's what separates her. That's what puts her apart from other channels talking about similar issues that I've watched. I do respect her on that principle, that she comes across as educated and a realist. So that's right there. Chef's kiss. Point in case.
Well, all you gotta do is talk. Actually, no, now that I think about it, that might make it worse. Put Tim Walz out there, okay? Let Tim Walz do the talking. Don't dress him up as a man. You wanna know how to speak to men? Go to where they are. A good place to speak to young men is the Joe Rogan podcast, which Kamala hinted at going on, but then that never happened, and instead, Trump went on, and that episode hit like 20 million views in a day. But like, can you blame her? Joe Rogan is just one of the most popular podcasts in the world with a majority young male audience.
I literally don't know who this is. Like, I have no idea who this even is. I don't think I care.
I hate it here. Every time this topic comes up, so does the topic of like Andrew Tate, Jordan Peterson, internet algorithms, right. Gamergate, whatever.
There is a massive amount of right-wing radical.
Oh, Hassan, you have a very poor platform to speak about radical. Was Hassan? Was it Hassan? I have to actually look this up. Because Hassan is, if he is this individual, he is one of the most brain-dead individuals I have come across. Hassan Piker, was he the one with Anne Frank? Yep. He was the person. Yep, that was the one. He had a, this was actually part of the whole Twitch thing in regards to Frogan, Asmongold recently. The core of what it comes down to is Hassan had I believe it was an extremist. I don't want to say the name for fear of YouTube, right? He quite literally compared a terrorist to Anne Frank. You know, World War II, Germany, Anne Frank, while talking about One Piece with someone who is arguably an extremist and justifying their actions as, oh, well, you know, he's gone through so much tragedy in his life and he's gone through so much yada, yada, yada in his life. And there's so much negativity. He's kind of like Anne Frank. Everyone I have told that to has absolutely had an aneurysm over this. What an absolute brain dead man. And I have no issue if he ever sees this. What an absolute L take. And that led into Mutahar. Some Order Gamers had a video, which I highly recommend you check out in regards to kind of him being done on this, where he did bring it up. It was in the wake of the Asmongold situation and the whole Sharia law thing, which I don't want to get into. I've already talked to people about it. I've talked to Buddy about it. And yeah, no, I know what take I have on that situation. But like, there was a time where what was it? Saddam Hussein, I think, got brought up by Mutahar, and like how there was an interview with him, and it's like yes, you're interviewing a figure like this, but it's professional. It is there are certain expectations going in. There is that professionalism. You cannot platform someone like that, Hassan, and that is why you will continue to get shit feedback. 100%. Hassan is the last person I ever want to hear talk about any sort of extremism or any sort of radical. Like, he is, he makes my blood boil.
Radicalization that has been occurring, especially in younger male spaces, any hobbies whatsoever, whether it's playing video games, whether it's working out.
Is he cross-eyed? I can't tell.
Whether it's, I don't know, listening to like a history podcast or whatever, everything that they see is right-wing sentiment being expressed by individuals that they find charismatic.
But you can only blame internet algorithms for so much for so long. This automatic assumption that any dissent from liberal mainstream thought could only be caused by manipulation or brainwashing from podcasters is honestly a cope, in my opinion, and just an easy excuse for failing to reach anyone beyond your own subreddit. As if
Yeah, absolutely. So there's an argument to be made for, well, you do this behavior because you were taught all your life to do this behavior. Okay. But you still have the ability to change the behavior, do you not? So if I were to, we'll make it a work thing, work related thing, right? Because I wanted to get the job done, I skipped my lunches and breaks, right? Absolutely. And if I hit a job where it's like, no, like we have full staffing, you don't need to get this done. You do plenty of work as is. Maybe I change what I do. Maybe I'm like, oh, I can take my lunches and breaks and not have to worry about other people not doing their jobs. What a wild concept. No way. Like, yeah, it's okay, cool. But yeah, this is influencing people. Okay. So is Logan Paul. He's influencing people, right? Logan Paul, Mr. Beast, KSI, trying to influence people to buy Lunchly, right? Okay. Does that mean you go buy Lunchly? I mean, you can or you can't, right? Like, yes, influencers are absolutely a factor, and that is why, we've had, what, cigarettes have been regulated, right? Remember the old Flintstones cartoon where Flintstones, the Barney Rubble and Fred Flintstone were smoking, right? This old Flintstones were built different, right? Black and white. Oh, God. But, like, how not only in the U.S. has tobacco marketing changed, but across the world over, right? Where you have places that have to show graphic images like, hey, this is the product you're buying, right? Like, yes, influences, especially if they are going to lead to certain actions. So say, this has been proven to lead to a cancer of some kind, okay? We need to make sure that you're following specific guidelines, right? Yes, absolutely. That's why regulations exist for media marketing, etc. But at the same time, you are also responsible for your own actions, and there is a thing as using something as a scapegoat. I think people need to be cognizant of that.
this all wasn't the result of like a stagnant neoliberal corpo hell world that created a vacuum that was just waiting to be filled with any kind of populism. The crazy thing is, the Democratic Party did have a candidate who successfully spoke to the demographic that they are currently trying so hard to reach. His name was Bernie Sanders. And every time he did speak to that demographic, or say he was concerned that the Democratic Party didn't do enough to speak to that demographic, he was called a sexist, a racist, he was backstabbed multiple times, and
well, what's the meme? Well, if it isn't the consequences of my own actions, that's the one.
cheated out of winning the Democratic primaries. His fans were called Bernie Bros and constantly berated as sexists and misogynists. His campaign was too white and too male, and this apparently was a top priority to remedy in a future campaign.
Dude, that's so rich, though. Well, I mean, you're too white, and you've too male of an audience. Hey, we need to reach the white male audience. Well, if it isn't the consequences of my own actions, right? If I were to say in a video, well, there's too many women that watch my video. Why are you watching it, right? And women go, okay, F this guy. And then I complain about, wow, I have like a 99.9% male demographic. Where do women at, right? Do you see how that's disingenuous? You see how just being kind to others, you see how not trying to push some weird like fad ideology or some weird ideology ends up treating you better in the long run. Just be nice to people, be kind to people. I don't know. there's also other things here, which, you know, because of the figure of what we're talking about and, you know, the realm of what we're talking about, I am outside of my depth here when it comes to what happened to Bernie Sanders. Also, that delves into politics. So further comment on that, I will probably have to withhold.
We were told he was just like Trump and, quote, appealed to angry white men. Well, who's trying to appeal to angry white men now, bitch? It's almost like Bernie's hyper-focus on working class issues, bread and butter issues, and populism was naturally attractive to men. No football or beer required. I miss him. And you know what? Maybe this shift with young men has less to do with who's holding the football and more of what happens when the DNC spends all their time and energy trashing the little bit of populism in their movement. And if you ask me, handing conservatives a monopoly on anti-establishment rhetoric on a silver platter was probably their first mistake. They kind of gave up on that bread and butter New Deal stuff for identity politics, and if you deny this, you are either lying or coping. The physical manifestation of the left has gone from the vision of the blue-collar union worker to a nagging, scolding fat woman with blue hair, barging into everyone's spaces and culturally colonizing them. Change this, change that.
See, I don't understand this. And so here's we're going to discuss kind of my recent experience with that, specifically with the 40K fandom, right? So here's the thing. Even in everything that I get into, even series that I have known for a long time, L5R, Legend of the Five Rings, or Naruto even, right? Series that I have skin in the game with, so to speak, right? I'm still a tourist. For all intents and purposes, I am there to learn about the lore. So me going into 40K, saying, I don't care about femstodes, okay? I'm not someone that has any authority to really speak or even try to change it. 100%. You're absolutely correct. Nor have I ever claimed to. I go in going, hey, Red Scorpion faction, they kind of look cool. Oh, these blueberries, what are the Grey Knights, right? I go in to understand, to seek understanding, right? That is no different if I were to, say, advocate to changing something, right? Like, oh, well, why are the Acadians still fighting on the destroyed homeworld, right? You know what, we should change that. Excuse you? That is no different than you coming into L5R. If I told you, well, the Crane Clan has the best duelists, and you're like, well, I like the Phoenix Clan, right? Well, Phoenix Clan should have the best duelists. Excuse you? Who are you to make any sort of say in that, right? It's like maybe it's probably why I've taken so much offense when it comes to Fate fans and being like, Astolfo is an amazing trans icon. Excuse you? Astolfo is canonically male? They're a femboy? Like, excuse you? What? Like, you are there to partake in a series. You're not there to change it. Especially when a company like Games Workshop just, on good authority, they kind of just changed the entire canon on a dime, right? Like, I understand when people talk about the colonizer mindset, you're trying to not just be a tourist, you're trying to, and I understand that. Like, when it comes down to even things that I'm in, right? I'm a quote unquote tourist. I can't make a decision if say Pokemon wants to go in a certain direction, or if a certain L5R lore goes a different way that I wanted it to. Cool, that is the information. I now have the information. Cool, we're done here. Oh, cool, the Cadians are still fighting on their planet. Okay, cool, seems legit. Long live Cadia. Cool. End of discussion. Oh, Games Workshop says femstodes are a thing? Cool. I'm gonna go literally talk about anything else because it's such a heated topic. Like... I understand the mentality. I understand what is being said, and when it comes to being tourists and stuff. I do also want to post out that even someone like me, and I only played L5R from Emperor Edition, right? Who ingratiated myself in the lore in my free period that I got, right? Failed out of calculus, got a free period effectively, right? Just read Naruto L5R all day, right? Why? I'm ingratiated more than other people are. Not as good as, not as deep as some. What would I ever have to bring to the table and say, oh, well, we just need ninjas in more clan than just Scorpion. Oh, well, you have that Crane Ninja, but we don't talk about the Crane Ninja, right? Oh, we need ninjas in Phoenix Clan and Crab Clan. Excuse you? No. Does the lore say that? Does the lore imply that? No. Cool. Guess it's not happening. The argument of canon has gotten so out of control recently. And I've had people defend to my face, like, oh, yeah, no, Astolfo is a trans icon. And it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. It is such a weird thing. So to my response in 40K, F the haters, F the weirdos, F the weirdos kind of get cult like, oh, we'll just do it, you know, you're just a tourist and we'll take care of these issues. Cool, I'm going to learn about the Grey Knights, I'm going to learn about the Red Scorpions, and I'm going to learn about the lore. And when Games Workshop, you know, actually modifies canon again, cool, guess this is actually canon. Games Workshop says it is. I'm a tourist, remember? You cannot get mad at me for being a tourist and then not suddenly taking some weird side in things. So I'm going to continue enjoying 40K, learning about the lore, learning about, you know, knights, learning about dreadnoughts, stuff like that. I'm having a blast because a friend has actually reached out. A couple people have actually reached out and been very, very kind about it. I do want to give a shout out to, I think it's Old Man. He actually reached out and was very kind in his response. F the haters. I will respect your fan base. I will respect the canon. That being said, do not get mad at me and lump me in with people who want to change stuff when I am not changing stuff. That is how you kill new interest in your community. I will rest my case.
I don't like this, I don't like that. It's just incredible for me to witness years of anti-male rhetoric finally come back to bite the left and Democrats in the ass. Watching these chickens come home to roost has just been both incredibly depressing and deliciously vindicating to me in a sick way, and I'm not sure if I should lend out a helping hand or Mufasa them off this fucking cliff. Some Democrats.
No, I mean, I think it's perfectly, I think it's perfectly reasonable. Dude, just be like, yeah, no, this is literally the consequence of your own actions. So here's what you do: you crack open a drink, and you're just like, go get him. Even partake in the, yeah, you kind of asked for this. And that's, to be fair, that's anybody that's just, you know, wants to, anybody, not just men, right? Anybody that wants to just absolutely put down another demographic, right? Like, let's work towards being kinder. You can disagree with people. You, dear viewer, don't have to agree with everything that I say. That is how adults function. You can disagree with me. Absolutely. There are fine lines that I will put down. If somebody attacks me in the comments section or tries to allegate or insinuate that I'm saying something I'm not, I will bite back and I will say you will provide what's the word? Citation. You're going to provide evidence, or else you're just having a bad faith argument, right? 100%. I think that's completely fair of anybody. That's like if Shoe0nHead was just like, oh, well, Shoe0nHead is pro insert political thing here, right? Okay, excuse you? You going to cite that? You going to have a source on that, Captain? You going to in any way, shape, or form bring evidence to the table to validate your claim? Or are you just going to be some random internet loser that the moment they get called out, cool, well, suddenly they don't want anything to do with the conversation, and oh, I'm just going to back off. I don't know. It's that lack of accountability, I think, that starts to hit me.
Democrats are nervous the party was too late to realize the problem. These Democrats worry that the party has focused too much on courting women voters, LGBTQ voters, and culturally progressive voters, alienating too many men in the process. There's a recognition that we're losing men, and the things we're doing around men haven't been working. I think a lot of it is a reaction to social progressivism done the wrong way, says David Hogg. Young men, he says, feel like progressives look down on them for saying the wrong thing, even when it's a mistake.
Oh my God, what a novel concept. I can make this like just from a base bare bones level. Like we talked about earlier, if everything you do over a period of time is met with scorn, is met with a negative stimulus, will you continue to engage with that stimulus, right? If every time you touch a door handle over the course of a week, that door handle shocks you, are you going to touch that door handle? Are you going to find ways around that door handle, right? If every single time you have a conversation with somebody, it always comes back to they're, complaining about their job and they're not actually fixing it, they just want to complain to vent so they feel better, and you have over, say, the course of a month, every single time you talk to this person, they do that, are you going to talk to that person, right? Completely fair. If you watch a Kip video and every time Kip watches a video, he's clearly negative and angry, are you going to come back and watch the next Kip video? Holy crap. Literally taking politics out of the situation, applying basic common sense and logic here. That's literally how that works.
That discomfort is enough to drive them away from the Democratic Party, even if they don't necessarily agree with Republicans. They would rather be around someone they don't agree with who doesn't judge them, than somebody they do agree with who judges them constantly.
I mean, honestly, incredibly fair, right? Would you rather hang out with your uncle who maybe you don't get along with all the best, but your uncle just kind of lets you, do your own thing, right? Or would you rather hang out with your uncle who, you agree on the same things, like, oh, you agree on the same places to eat, saying things, but they're constantly just like, Timmy, let's talk about what you're doing with your life. Let's talk about where you're going in life. What are you doing? What's your plans, right? Oh, dear God, right? Which one of these is going to frustrate you more rather than, hey, you want to go get insert chicken place here? Yeah, I'll get it. I really don't like Uncle A, but you know what? I mean, at least he's kind of a cool dude, right? wow. It's almost like being personable and being human is how things work. What a novel concept.
Men aren't moving right because they are choosing fascism. They are moving right because the left made them the villains in their anime fan fiction. It's not that they all like Trump. It's that they all hate you, and no amount of camo hats is going to fix that. But do not get it twisted. I do not in any way, shape, or form believe the GOP is going to help men. I don't think they're going to help anyone. Except maybe Israel. Do I think all of the left is some hyper woke fat
I ain't touching that with a 10-foot pole. I am not touching that.
lady wagging her finger in men's faces like no fun allowed? No. If I did, I wouldn't call myself left-wing. I'm not a Democrat, I'm a registered independent. But the Democratic Party is historically better on policy, and despite their messaging, even when it comes to helping men. Healthcare, higher wages, paid family leave, labor protection, social security, things Republicans have always fought against. And I think that's why this is extra frustrating to me. I don't say this with any love for the Republican Party. In fact, if anything, I say it with love for the Democratic Party. I fucking hate them, but deep down, I wish they could be better. I'm doing this for your own good.
Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep.
Go sleep, I love you, go to sleep. I just hope that whether Kamala wins or loses, the party can take a step back and evaluate what they're doing wrong. Because I don't think the Democratic Party should be the party for the gays and women. I think the Democratic Party should be the party for everyone, including angry white men. So in your opinion, what could the Democratic Party do to win back young men? Can they?
I don't think that they can. I don't see I don't see a way in which this goes the way they want it to. But then again, I'm also not really any authority figure to speak on the matter. This is just the opinions of an idiot on the internet, right? Like, I mean, you kind of, by what we saw earlier, right? Oh, hey, with the Bernie thing, we don't want young white men. Cool. We've literally followed your instructions to a T, right? People have followed your instructions to a T. What do you want? Like what do you want? You can't give people whiplash like that. That's like a business having a policy, or like business has a like, oh yeah, no, we have for 3 months straight, we have this burger that's like $5. And then, oh, well, now this burger's $10. And it's like, okay, you don't go there for a couple weeks, go back. Oh, it's always been $5. Make up your mind. Is it $5 or $8, right? That kind of, I mean, it's in a basic form, like you're giving people whiplash. Like, I also don't understand why people are backtracking if this is clearly the route that you wanted to go with. Why are you once again complaining at men? Just leave men alone. This is coming from somebody who once again hates everybody. If we want to actually address, the question she is asking, I don't think they can. I think that they have made their decision, and that's fine. People have followed their decision, and I don't think they should be able to retract that. Like, commit to the bit, right? You've made your bed. Grats. Like, oh my god.
Do anything? Are they fucked? To me, it might take decades of work to fix the culture, the rot that infests the progressive ideology. It is going to take a lot of work to fix, but I think it's worth it, not just for the Democratic Party's sake, but just for society's sake.
Correct. It is worth it to fix it because it is the proper thing to do. I feel like people just, and I've said this consistently, I feel like people forget that, like, Lando Calrissian and Leia Organa were a thing in Star Wars. If you want to go to the prequels, we had literal, like Padme Amidala and Captain Panaka, right? Like, I don't know. I just like, are these characters, these actors just fever dreams to people? Like, I've been very vocal that John Boyega as Finn in the sequel trilogy got character assassinated. Didn't he get actually, like, relegated or hard edited in, what was it, the Chinese release of Force Awakens? God, I wish it was Force Unleashed. That'd be an amazing movie. Good God. Like, I don't care. Identify as whatever you want. Be a toaster. Be trans. Be LGBTQIA+. Like, literally, I don't care. Be yourself. Be a cool person. Be a legit person. It's not hard. What I will criticize about any sort, and I actually went on The Last Jedi last night as far as like an actual like rant. Like, oh dude, the kukri scene pisses me off. Write a good story. If you write an unlikable character, if you write a character that has no character development, if you're trying to ham-fist a plot line, the Canto Bite bit, that like Cool, Gratz, I understand that you're trying to make a war profiteering message, but like, what a dumb way to do it. What a way to completely derail the movie and completely just like make your audience uncomfortable. I will criticize you for all of these things. I'm not going to criticize you for having a female lead. I'm not going to criticize you for having a black lead. I'm not going to in any way, shape, or form criticize you for having this representation. Make a good story. If you cannot make a good story, it reflects negatively on this diversity that you're trying to push. I think that that's a fair and reasonable assessment of the interaction, right? If you're trying to be like, well, this is our first movie with a female Star Wars lead, right? Cool. And the movie bombs because the writing's awful. Why should we do this? Or, oh, this is a more The Acolyte, right? Haven't watched it. Don't plan on watching it. There's too much controversy. Too hot. Don't like it. It's kind of ruined me wanting to even watch it, right? Like, having one of the main actresses just completely just go unhinged on social media, why am I going to engage in that? Does that not reflect negatively on these diversity and equality values that people are trying to push? Those in glass houses? It's actually why I have 100% asked the LGBTQIA plus community, why are we doing nothing about Ava Chris Tyson? We want to talk about Dr. Disrespect, and absolutely, I have made my position on Dr. Disrespect very clear. There were messages that happened with a minor. Yes. There were. Did these conversations to lean on inappropriate? Also, yes. Cool. More than should have happened. Gratz. That is from his own words as written. All I need to know to completely dismiss him and never want to ever deal with Dr. Disrespect. Gratz. Why are we not doing the same with Ava Chris Tyson? Come on, LGBTQIA plus community. Come on. What are we doing? And I've heard excuses. Well, oh, this is the reason we don't do this. This is the reason we don't do this. We are leaving the ball in your court. You want rightly, people should in any way, shape, or form, if someone is interacting inappropriately with a minor, should be taking care of it. So why are we not taking care of it? I, as a white male on the internet, cannot. I will be labeled as a transphobe. I will be labeled as XYZ derogatory terms. It is up to you to take care of Ava Chris Tyson. I just, oh God, I don't know. I'm off on this one. I am completely off my rocker.
If you like this video, please consider donating to my Patreon, link down below. It really helps the channel out, and I appreciate it so much. Also, thank you for 2 million subscribers. That's insane.
Oh, nice.
And I will see you guys with a new video soon. Bye! Let me be in charge of the DNC for a day, Nancy Pelosi. I am very normal and can be trusted with that amount of power.
I would trust Shoe0nHead. Shoe0nHead would probably mandate that every dude gets a goth waifu dami mommy. Shoe0nHead gets a vote from me, 100%. So I promised there's a conversation I had in the beginning, and I want to say this before actually finishing out the video. So I messaged Buddy, whose opinion I value highly, and I'm going to be paraphrasing a little bit of this. So I was saying initially that I was conflicted in reacting to the new Shoe0nHead video. I'm experiencing some weird apathy on the subject of men being talked at rather than talked to. Shoe0nHead generally has reasonable takes, but I feel people want to talk about issues with men, but not actually offer solutions or go anywhere with it other than being a talking point, which got me thinking. Fossils being interviewed on mainstream news acknowledge society needs men to function. Men leaving the workforce and blaming disability income due to enabling it shows that people want men to work. Not that they really care about men, but the basic understanding that men are required for society to function is there. Hard labor jobs is what I'm trying to specifically pitch here, right? You know, hard labor, military, etc. I've gotten pushback saying that women can do anything in the workplace that men can. And I've gotten pushback in the way that women can't do certain things because of physiological limitations of being built different, to which we had the discussion on equality earlier. Yes, break down those barriers, but at the end of the day, the end goal is the same, is it not? Excuse me, is it not? It is not reasonable from an OSHA standpoint to have a single person, man, woman, etc., to lift a 300-pound garbage bag. It's not okay, right? Like we've discussed this. That's completely fair and reasonable as a nobody's going to have to do that. Friend has experienced issues with other extreme people in the workplace. So it comes back to men are being the ones that it seems are kind of pitched to do the hard jobs, hard labor jobs, military, etc. Right? How far back does this mentality go is the question I posed. Is this nature or nurture is the second one I posed. I know obviously we have that evolutionary psychology standpoint of Is this the hunter-gatherer mentality? Is that evidence of this? Is that bogus? Is it not bogus? Does this apply here? Because the thing that kind of sours that argument is there are people that are like, well, back in the days of our forefathers, family could sleep together. Okay, but we're in the 21st century. We call that a crime. That begins with a funny I letter, right? I-N, right? That's a crime. Oh, well, back in this day, humans and animals. No. Let me stop you there. Okay, 21st century, right? We have evolved with the times. Well, trad-wise, back in the 50s, husbands ended up beating their. No. Once again, 21st century, people evolve. So kind of linking back to the hunter-gatherer thing, because I feel it does get dismissed for me on points like that. We are in the 21st century. How much of it is nature? How much of it is nurture? To which I ended with, the hunter-gatherer mentality is evidence that men do X and women will do Y. What's the validity of that? And have societies broken this trend where men and women have all just kind of done equal things? It kind of breaks this mold, this mentality. And what was that response? So these are all questions I posed. I do not have an answer yet, as it is a great macro topic. This is actually my regular conversations. It's why I try not to have, if there's a certain character limit, I'm sorry. I try to read as many comments as I can, but if we're giving me essay after essay, I have to cut it off at a certain point. Especially if we start introducing words like woke and stuff. I can't read it. I can't. I have to just take time for myself, which I lament that I can't get to certain comments, certain submissions. I can't do essay after essay after essay. I don't have the brain space. I don't have the mentality to be able to do that. To which I want to go into. I am glad that I gave this video a shot. As I said, I tried to have a conversation on this earlier, and it was, pretty dismissive. It's just like, well, it's just Kip being Kip again. Kip trying to talk about male issues. We're going to talk about this instead. To which, fair. That's fine. Use that as a citation as to why I do not talk about certain things. Use that as a citation in, I don't really want to discuss this anymore. Those kind of things. I am glad that I did give this a watch, because I think that Shoe0nHead was very professional here. I think that obviously she's talking about literal politics, right? I think that she did it in a way where I didn't feel like as a man I was being attacked. I didn't feel like it was my fault, as in other videos I've watched where, well, you're just a man. It's just your 18 plus intake and stuff. As somebody who watches VTubers like Cinder, watches Project Melody, watches Cottontail VA, I feel that's a very, I feel it's just a very disingenuous statement to make. Obviously, addiction in any way, shape, or form, you should definitely seek professional help for that, especially if it is an addiction that is causing problems in your own life, 100%. However, when it comes down to the recycled rhetoric of 18 plus is causing male loneliness, I do start to take issue with that. So not only do I respect Shoe0nHead for what she brings to the table, I do feel, as I said earlier, I respect her because she comes across as very educated, knowledgeable. She comes across as a very fair and reasonable person. And she has honestly earned, as a dude on the internet, she has earned my respect. She has earned that spot where others have lost that, right? As somebody who, whenever I hear about men and problems, it's like a wound, right? Like you get that wound and you're trying to let it heal, but every time you bump it or like lemon juice gets into it and it just keeps stinging. Okay, male loneliness sucks. Loneliness in general sucks. There's absolutely issues going on, but Shoe0nHead, I feel, has been very she's been willing to also pitch solutions. She's been willing to call people out. She's been, obviously she has her own stances and viewpoints, but she's also been willing to be like, look, this is how this is. Okay, yeah, that's reasonable. So thank you, Shoe0nHead. I really do appreciate this. I'm sorry for ruining your video by effectively 3xing it. At this time, I'm on vacation, so if I don't get to your comments, probably why. This is something I felt important enough to react to, and at the very least to throw my hat once more into the ring, once more onto the breach of trying to be a man on the internet, trying to talk about these subjects in a reasonable capacity. But once again, give it about 96 hours, give it about 4 days after release, which I'm probably going to upload this on my second day after to help compete with other channels that are doing it right. Let me just, you'll see that there is definitely going to be a trend for people don't want to hear men talk about the subjects. I think that's an incredibly fair and reasonable take, but let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you, Shoe0nHead. Thank you for being an awesome individual. I came into this really defensive, like I said at the beginning, came into this very analytical, and I was very quickly allied of those fears. I think that you've done a very good job here, and I do respect how you're going about this. So thank you, and I will see you when I'm back from vacation.